We're back, second hour of our program. A lot of people will be out there waiting for the Gators to walk by tomorrow as they enter Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, the University of Florida, and all its and so many national championships in every sport. But our next coach may have retired that trophy. Coach Mike Holloway, cross country, track and field, the national. I once asked you, can you name every national championship that you've won? And it's in the double digits. Everybody knows that. And you told me you could, but okay. I'm not going to make you. But I just when you have to think about it for a second, that's a remarkable career.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. It has been. I've been very blessed. I really have.
I was asking you off the air because it's hard enough to win it in one sport. You've won it in indoor, or outdoor. We're in cross-country season now. You do men, women. How do you do it all?
A lot of hard work. A lot of have to have a great staff. My staff is phenomenal, and we all have to be on the same page. We talk about that a lot. We don't always agree, but at the end of the day, once we decide we're going to do something, we all go at it with a passion, and I think that's why we're successful. There's no infighting. They trust me, and most of the time I make good decisions, so it works out pretty well.
Coach, it's obviously a team sport, but the individualism of it is pronounced.
Absolutely.
And I know there are a lot of lines that get blurred because you're part of a team. You may be competing in another. How do you make it work so successfully?
I think the biggest thing is we talk about that in recruiting. We talk about our passion to be at our very best at the championship meets, and we talk about that. That's what our pedigree is here. That we're going to make sure we're taking care of you, the individual, but that's a part of the whole, part of the whole team.
And we often talk about a coach coming off of a loss. It's a little different because in track and field, there are so many different elements. It's not only the team competition, it's the individual competition. You just got back from some World Games in Tokyo. There's the Olympic. I mean,
right.
This all converges together, and I know it has to be managed very carefully.
Right. I mean, I think it just comes down to planning. I think I learned that as a young coach, as a high school coach. My first few years as a high school coach, we were really ready in the middle of the year. And we get to the state championships and we fell apart. So I had to really go back and figure out how to make sure that we were competent during the regular season, but be at our best when it counted the most. When I became a college coach, I just brought that philosophy with me, and it's worked out pretty well.
Now, to say the least, talent is absolutely required.
Absolutely.
But, when you watch the bigger events, whether it's at the NCAA or World Games or the Olympics, it seems to me from a distance there's a lot more that goes into that, though, than just talent.
Well, I think that's the mistake some people make is they put a moniker, they put this title on the meet that makes them change who they are. I coach with the same passion and the same zest that I had at Buell's High School. I'm still that same coach now. No matter what the arena is, it doesn't change who Mike Holloway is. It's the same with my coaching staff. We're going to coach the same way at Florida Relays as we do at the NCAA championships, and I think that's a mistake. Don't put a label on the meet and make that change who you are. Our big thing is go to the meet and be you. Do your job. We talk about that a lot.
So, but is there a difference and I don't want to make any event, any meet standard because everyone is important to individuals, but there is some a distance seemed like a difference between a Saturday competition in April as opposed to the championship in June,
right?
As opposed to the World Games, as opposed to the finals in an Olympic heat. How do you work on that? Because
the big difference with that is like because of the nature of our sport, where the things in April and May are more qualifying competitions to get us to the NCAA championships. And when you get to the World and Olympic level, it's USA against the world. But that's a little more of a selfish thing. I'm trying to individual. Like, was the difference when Grant Holloway was competing for the Gators and scoring points versus going to Worlds or Olympics and trying to win a gold medal there? It's a different mindset. It's a lot more selfish there.
And I'm fascinated by the psychology of it, and there has to be, because you often see as the events as the air goes out of the event, meaning they're more important. The times do get better usually.
Right.
Don't they?
Right.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, athletes mature. You get to the bigger level, and that's where the more skilled athletes are.
Okay.
Just like no difference between being a collegiate level athlete and going to play in the NBA or the NFL. It's the same concept. So when you get to that level, you have to be more detailed when your everyday task, taking care of yourself, getting right sleep, eating right, getting treatments and stuff like that. The consummate professional does those things. We've all heard the great stories about LeBron James doing that since he was 14, 15 years old. So if you watch and pay attention to the great track athletes, the Noah Lyles, the Grant Holloways, the Sidney McLaughlins,
So
that's
how
what
much
they're
of,
doing.
is it in let's say it doesn't matter whether it's a middle or long distance or a sprint, but you're elite athletes, and you've had countless elite athletes that have gone on to the Olympics. Are they battling a number, which is a record? Are they battling themselves? Are they battling the other people in the race?
I think they're more importantly, they're battling execution of their race. I think, again, that's a mistake a lot of people make. They try to race other people.
Okay.
And I really impress upon my athletes, you just have to be who you are. My standard line is dance with the girl you brought to the dance. Be who you are. Do the things that you do every day because that's who you are. When you go to a competition and you're a 13 flat hurdler, be a 13 flat hurdler. Because when you try to run 12.8, then you run 13.2, and then you're upset. So just be who you are.
But if
prepare for that all year long.
And again, I'm sounding like a neophyte here, but you have the best in the world in a competition. Does the fact that they are so good, can you run any faster than you? Because there are records broken, and I always wonder, how did that happen in this event?
Because that person just did their job.
Okay.
Right? So the problem you have is this. So think about it like this. It's not football or basketball.
Okay.
It's not like football where we're a throwing team, we're going to run the ball. It's not like basketball where we're slow down, we're going to speed it up. You just have to do your job because you have no control over anybody else in any other lane. Nothing you can do about it.
So you can, and for those who don't follow track and field, you can tell I'm a geek at it, but you can run the greatest race of your life, and it may not matter.
Oh, yeah, you can run the greatest race of your life and get last place. It happens all the time. It's not uncommon at all. Yeah.
That doesn't normally happen in other sports. I mean, if you play the best game of your life, you're going to do well.
Right, and that's the beauty of our sport. Like, you could really not win the race. You're not going to win the race, but you still have the performance of your life, so you can walk away satisfied with the fact that you did your best.
And as a coach,
exactly, yeah.
That is your objection. You want them to be
at their best when it counts.
Cliche, but it's also true.
It's very true. Yeah.
As you think about your career, and I know you keep knocking out championships, so you're not going anywhere. I mean, if I won a national championship, I'd celebrate the rest of the year. I've talked to you 2 days after that. You're like,
yeah,
you don't even want to talk about it anymore.
I leave it there. I mean, I think if you take your failures with you, they bog you down. I think your successes do the same thing for you. So I don't try to live in that moment. I leave that moment there. By the time I get on the plane, I'm wanting to try to figure out how to win the next one.
What about when you walk past the trophy case? You ever stop and like,
Not one
man, you're too good.
Not one time.
I'm going to catch you one day peeking at a national championship.
I
go 1, 2, 3,
doubt
4,
very
5, 6.
seriously.
I think you have 12 overall, right?
14.
14. I missed 2 now. Can you imagine? Oh, 12 world championships, 14 national championships. Is that right?
14 national championships.
I'm just testing you here.
Yeah, 14 national championships. Yeah.
You're so good, Coach, that I missed 2 national championships without even blinking an eye. Right. That's how great this man is. Coach Mike Holloway, let's hear it for him. What a pleasure.